We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
So you saw ambulances head towards the shooting when it happened, and none came back towards Michigan.
I didn't see anybody come back.
Okay, so that confirms those people's story. They saw ambulances leave. They never saw any ambulances bring anybody back to the hospital. So why was there reports? Why was there reports that 5 people were wounded? And where's the names and all this stuff? I don't think they released the names. Okay, they never did. But she's an employee at QD, right on Michigan Avenue. Okay, she saw the ambulances head towards the crime scene, both the shootings. Okay, they didn't come back. So don't you think if people are shot, they're gonna go get the bodies and bring them back to the hospital, like pretty quickly? Okay, doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. Again, their reports are this finished on High Street, the final incident where McRae allegedly killed himself. You have to be high to believe that. You have to be absolutely high, living on High Street, to believe that. That's my, prove me wrong, because police are refusing to answer questions. They won't even give me a police report number. They have a student answering their non-emergency line at Michigan State University Police. This girl answered, and she was the one telling me what the law was. A student at Michigan State University. All I asked for, again, what's the police report number? What's the police report number? Where is it? If you don't have anything to hide, why don't you just release a police report number? Like, just the number. Can you tell me the number? You don't have to give me detail. You can keep that classified, boys. But how about just a number? Even the government releases numbers of reports. Like, come on. Okay, this is Larch Street. And I believe East Street, I think the other one is Earl. This is the McDonald's that I questioned an eyewitness who was working at McDonald's the night of the Michigan State University nationally televised campus mass shooting. Okay, so I asked this kid what he remembered about it, and he said he saw a person running away from DeWitt police. He didn't give him a name. He didn't give me a name. He said he saw someone running away from DeWitt police. Okay, now I interviewed him right at these front windows. Right at the front windows here. He said he saw someone running away because he was working the register, and that's the register facing this way. He saw a guy running over here, and he cut through this area. Okay, then he said he heard one gunshot, and he said it was DeWitt Police Department that was chasing him with DeWitt police cars. And I called the DeWitt Police Department. All I did, I asked for the police report number, and they wouldn't give me one. Okay, but he said it was right here that allegedly McRae, they said, killed himself. But again, imagine if you're running away from DeWitt police, try to put your hand in your pocket and start running. And try to kill yourself. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to request the autopsy. I'm going to request this McRae autopsy, Brian Fraser, because I have an eyewitness who works at this McDonald's, and he was there working the night of the shooting. Okay, said it ended up right here. So I'm going to go see what street this is. The cross street is Randall. Right now, and then the other thing is Kent Sons Construction, okay, who's all over the sidewalks at Michigan State. You can see them imprint their logo. It says Kent Sons Construction. So this is East Street in Randall, McDonald's. Okay, I'm at the Sparrow Hospital where supposedly there was 5 gunshot wound victims brought the night of the Michigan State University campus nationally televised shooting. Okay, supposedly there was 5 gunshot wound victims. Now I've asked multiple people on the street that live around this area and employees at the hospital. Okay, and they didn't see anybody come in here. They saw ambulances leave. They never saw anybody come back. And then they refused to release the names of the people shot that came to the hospital, the 5. So I just want to confirm one more time. Neither of you ever saw actual blood or a gunshot wound victim come in here that night? To your knowledge? No?
Not that night, 'cause I wasn't down on that end. I wasn't working down there.
But she was, right? You were working on the end? You were working near the emergency department, you said?
That time?
Yeah.
No, I
No.
just working in that.
Yeah, but right here. But do you normally see when there's gunshot?
They didn't see anybody.
No.
Because when they come with ambulances.
Yeah.
So the ambulance, it go all the,
Yeah.
to the other side now over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so they never saw anybody come in here. And he was working the backside, he said, where the other emergency department is. He never saw anybody come in. He said, when I first questioned him, I told him that the call to dispatch was at 8:18. And he said, that sounds about right about the time the ambulances left here. Okay, and even so, any of those ambulances or firefighters, like on their way down the street, you should have seen him. Like this was his route towards High Street. So like, it doesn't add up that there was no description or picture of them sent out on the emergency alert, which was 12 minutes. The emergency alert was 12 minutes after the first call to dispatch. If you can pull any campus security camera in real time and put it out on that emergency alert. Okay, so where is that? And then I had reports of that they posted a picture. People said they posted a picture of the guy inside Berkey wearing like a red shirt or something. There's no cameras inside Berkey. I was in there. I showed you. So doesn't add up. They keep going here, leaving Sparrow. There's 2 people I talked to that said they never saw any gunshot wound victims come in here that night, and they were both employees working in the tank. Okay, so and we should be able to pull these cameras with why didn't they look at those? Well, like everything's saved.
So here's my question: how did McRae get all the way over here without being seen? And he's not like running away. Okay, again, if you get away from a nationally televised campus mass shooting, you're gonna get rid of all your weapons. I mean, you just did what you went there to do, and your intent was to get away. You didn't kill yourself at the shooting like most national televised mass campus. Okay. So his intent was to get away. He got away. So why would he kill himself running away from police? So I talked to a guy yesterday who said he's been around this area for a while. And he said what you need to do is look at the McRae autopsy. So that's how So this is Lake Lansing and East Street. Again, it's not High Street. They put High Street on there because you got to be high to believe this story. That's my belief. Love you.
Good day, everybody. Good day to my 4 beautiful daughters. MMCQ, Daddy misses you. Can't wait to see you. Okay, so I'm going to give you an update on the shooting as I know it so far upon the investigation. Okay, there's a CATA bus stop. Okay, there's reports between 7 and 8:12 that McRae got off a CATA bus. Still don't know which bus route or which bus exact stop he stopped at. Okay. And they don't know where he purchased his ticket or where he got on the bus. So keep that in mind. So there was eyewitness reports of him walking eastbound, okay, past that art museum right there. Then he comes back and allegedly enters this door right here. This is Berkey Hall, and that's the classroom that they have the room 114 walled off. Okay, so it says the first call to dispatch was at 8:18 p.m. to 911 in Ingham County. The call of an active shooter. It said officers were in that building, okay, at 8:20. So keep that in mind. So now, by the time the officers are in there, McRae has to be out. So keep that in mind. The call comes in at 8:18. Okay, so let's say that the shots went off about 2 to 3 minutes before that, and he's out the door. He's out this door. Now they reported 2 dead and 5 injured in Berkey Hall. They didn't say how many shell casings were found or what type of bullets were used in there, which was another red flag. Okay, so McRae gets out of there after committing 1 mass shooting in a classroom with no security cameras on the inside until this day. There's no security cameras on the inside of that building. There is some for the birds though. Down by the river, they have a security camera pointed right at the birdhouse. Okay, so he passes up, he decides, you know what? I'm gonna pass up this building. I don't know what it's called, but there's people in there. He's gonna pass up all of this right here, okay? Think about that. Now this took me 3 minutes and 5 seconds to walk. So let's say McRae, the call came in at 8:18. Let's say he's out of there at 8:17. The caller realizes the shooter ran away, now it's safe to call, okay? So let's say 8:17, that puts McRae in that union at about 8:20 when officers are entering Berkey, okay? But at this time, and it doesn't say which police department entered first even. At this time, we have East Lansing Police Department right behind this HQ building here. 1 block behind it, kitty corner. Okay, so if the call went in at 8:18 to Ingham County Dispatch, it should have went out to all surrounding police departments. Okay, and they start blocking off all these exits so the shooter can't get away. And they're looking for somebody with a gun and running away from a building. So they missed him, obviously. Okay, and then it says McRae leaves at 8:26 from Union after killing just Brian Frazier. Now remember, he passes up this entire parking garage with people in it, 8:30 at night, just after the Super Bowl, the day after, okay? Passes up all these buildings. Remember, it's a college town. Campus is in session. They just had Super Bowl parties. There's tons of people on campus. And he decides to pass all of them up. Nobody notices he has a gun. And he's able to walk all the way down here. No cop, no firefighter, okay, no ambulance driver sees him at all. Somehow, magically, okay. And then Kent Sons Construction, we'll get to that later. Okay, they'll come into play here. So I went and interviewed a bunch of people. I actually investigated and I asked everyone I interviewed, have police questioned you? They all said no. The police never questioned business owners on this block, this entire block. The one guy that said police called said they asked if they had security cameras. What does that tell you? Okay, and a lot of these businesses have closed down. Okay, so McRae leaves here at 8:26. Says officers arrive at 8:27 and 8:28 somehow, but again, there should be officers lined up with this street. So, and then the door, it reports 1 shot fired in between these 2 buildings. Now, I talked to an eyewitness who was working at Sparty's the night of the shooting inside this cafeteria. Now, Brian was working his job in the cafeteria kitchen that night. How does an active shooter, a mass shooter, okay, just target him in the cafeteria? Well, my eyewitness that I interviewed, okay, he said the door was left open. So that tells me right away, this is a pre-planned domestic terrorist act, whoever planned this. It shows in the timeline of events they gave too, because it doesn't add up, okay? So he gets out of this door, again, he goes into a prop door, then he comes back out of it, okay? Then he travels, I think it's about 4.2 miles, I think, from this location to where he allegedly killed himself. Took me an hour to walk. He doesn't have a car, he's on foot. Eyewitness says the buses were shut down right away. Okay, this all should have been shut down. And maybe it was, and maybe he got out another way. But we'll get to that. So how does he end up all the way on High Street and Lake Lansing near that McDonald's? Okay. Well, Kent Sons Construction, that's where one of their headquarters is, right where McRae died. Now, if you watch my videos on YouTube or Facebook, you'll notice I've been finding these like underground tunnels all over campus. I had no idea they were there. That's one logical explanation of how somebody could get from point A, 4.2 miles to point B without being seen. That's logical. Let's be honest about that. Unless you had a transporter or a helicopter, okay, that's the only way you would not be seen. Now, here's the kicker. Emergency alerts went out at 8:30 and 8:31. There's security cameras on the outside of that door. And again, they released security footage a couple days after the incident. Really bad, choppy footage. Why didn't they post the shooter's picture within right of seeing the security camera? You pull the security camera footage and you at least put the picture out with the emergency alert. And you use your facial recognition software to get his name. Okay? It's that easy to get it out. So that for over 3.5 hours, they didn't have a name or a picture out of a mass shooter with security cameras all over. Can you believe that? Well, come to find out, there's not a lot of security cameras around this campus. And still to this day, after a mass shooting, there is not a lot of security cameras. Why is that? Why would a large campus like this that just had a mass shooting not want to have extra security cameras? Think about it for a second. Why would they not want people seeing what goes on inside these buildings? So think about that for a second. I mean, they just had a mass shooting in Berkey Hall. They walled off from 114. Not one camera inside the building. What does that tell you? Common sense tells you, well, something's going on in that building that they don't want anybody to know about. Okay? So that's where the investigation is at today. I can guarantee you there's a lot of people involved with this cover up. Okay? Gonna get to the bottom of it. If you've been following, what I've proved is if you use common sense, logic, and even common timestamps, okay? And if you go try to verify a police report number, you won't get one. I called and got denied multiple times, okay? It's just, call this what you want. It's a cover up. It goes up top too, I believe. Otherwise they wouldn't have had to single out Brian. So here's what I really want to investigate. What was Brian up to before he died? Because a shooter, that's the laws of probability for that shooter exiting Berkey Hall and then just kill Brian, slim to none. Slim to none. So he knew something or he reported something. He did something good. Because that's the only way police or whoever did this, there had to be police involved because they're the ones making all the reports. They're the high command. Okay? So I'm going off what the police's own version of events was. As you can see, it's very messy. A lot of donut holes. I ate all the donuts. And I love my police. Like, I do. Even the ones that got corrupted by this. I know there's good cops. I love you, but you're wrong. Like, any which way you look at it. Like, this isn't going away. So, I know you all think it is, like you do all your other cover-ups. This one's not going to go away. I promise you. No matter what you do to me or my family. How many times you threaten me, okay, with your state trooper buddy or police officers flashing their guns at me, okay? It shows how soft you are. All right? Love you, America. I got your back. Got my FBI honey queens back, their families, okay? Intelligence community, Navy, Army, Marines, okay? Space Force, Air Force, Space Command. They're high command, hey? Beat me up, Scotty. MMCQ, thanks for teaching your daddy what to do.
Hello to Miller Madison, Colette Quinn. Hope you're having a great day. I love you girls and I miss you. So I'm going to take everybody through a walkthrough. This is Berkey Hall that I'm in right now. Again, there's still no security cameras that they've added, and there was a nationally televised campus mass shooting about 1 year ago, and there's still no security cameras on the inside of the structure. Now, I've been going over the police report as much as I can. And it talks about room 114. Okay, and if you go read it on my website, you can see they talk about room 135. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through. Okay, let's say the shooter came through the north door. Okay, because during the report, it said this is the first door he entered right here. And he didn't enter all the way. Okay, now they have this completely blocked off. Okay, now this is room 114. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is to show you there is no room 135. Okay, and there's still no security cameras on the inside of the structure to this day. There's still no security cameras on the inside of the structure. And again, there's no room 135. So how could on a police report, the MSU University police officers say that they went and checked room 135 and they didn't find anybody in there? Okay. Okay. And then still no security cameras in a building where there was a nationally televised campus mass shooting. Now, if you're a parent of one of these kids at Michigan State University, okay, let's say you were in charge of this university and you just settled with families for $15 million to prevent another shooting from happening, would you not want to add security measures? That's
No, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Okay. This proves my point. This proves my point right here. I think someone forgot to turn the light off. Hey boys, it's Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you. Like, what is this? It's just like, come on, that's like, here's Michigan State. What else is down there? Well, that's my other theory. If the shooters aren't seen by eyewitnesses, like, I'm not trying to make, like you have to laugh at this because it's, like, are you guys serious with how bad this looks? Okay? Like, a bunch of people that I've talked to, eyewitnesses, people from around the area, they believe there was 2 shooters. Okay? And they don't know how, and everybody's like, how, they're baffled at how the shooter got around without being seen by anybody, like eyewitnesses. So again, what does that tell you? If the shooter is not seen on this level, which level are they on? I mean, and how many are there? It's logical questions people have been asking, and nobody wants, like, to act that has the power to. Like, the police could reopen this investigation, so I'm calling on them to. The governor could, the university could, and if you look at they hired their own firm to do like an after evaluation or whatever investigation. They praised themselves and the police and their first responders, and also they could get a little extra money in donations, a little extra payday. It's like, what? Look how much donations they got, too. Like, why did they get so much money? Okay? Like, alumni poured in for donations, and you didn't beef up security at all, so alumni, why are you donating so much money to the police departments and first responders? I mean, it looks like a cover-up from what the people are saying, from what the investigation says. Because you don't even say how many bullet casings you found on the first shooting. So that's like, okay, red flag. And again, you said there was one bullet casing found in between the Ecology building and Union. Well, how many bullet casings were found at the first building? How long did it take you to clear the crime scene? Okay, why were there no ambulances seen going back to Sparrow by eyewitnesses and employees at the hospital? Okay, why was there no perimeter? Why did you not enlarge the perimeter setup? Why was there no helicopters, drones? I mean, if you couldn't find him, like, that's standard. There's no helicopter. You'd have multiple helicopters. You'd have your drone unit that came into town. Okay, so where are they at this point? 3 hours with no picture out? That's like your last resort. You're searching for a guy running away. And again, the fact that he's not seen. He literally transports somehow from the ending of the shooting at Union, and like a transporter, 3.5 hours later shows up an hour walk away. And the kid on the bus today, the Kata, he said, yeah, he came, the rumor is he came into town on a bus. That's just a rumor. But he said right when they shut down all the buses. That's what the kid told me. So there's no way he could have got off on a bus. So, again, there's lots of security camera footage that we can look at. Why don't we look at it? And we could get answers. And again, I just showed you that on the beginning of this video. Somebody left the light on in the tunnels tonight. Okay, someone's working the pipes, as they say. Tink, tink, tink. I just hit a couple pipes. My goal went in. Love you, MMCQ. Can't wait to see you.
Okay, so this is any one of the number of stops McRae could have got off the bus. Okay. Coming up here. Now they say, in theory, he should have got off on this one or the one next to Broad Art Museum.
Next stop,
There's videos of him walking eastbound past Broad Art between 7 and 7:45, and that's when he starts to head back towards Berkeley. See that M on 43? I don't know if Michigan State people would like that. The original Land Grant College. Now there you'll find murals of Abraham Lincoln across this campus as well. That's because it's connected through the Morrill Act. So look
stop
up
requested.
the Morrill Act. M-O-R-R-E-L-L, I believe. And that was what Honest Abe signed into an act that way. Or was it all just an act?
Next stop for Grand River and Division, transfer point for Route 1. Okay, so one theory is he could have slipped before anybody knew where he was, okay? He could have slipped back on the bus, okay? Now, if that were true, then one of the eyewitnesses I talked to on this actual bus line one night, he said as soon as that emergency alert went out, all the buses were closed down. So that's like a 10-minute period where the buses were still running. So the CATA bus stopped running. They were shut down as soon as that emergency alert went out at 8:30. Okay, so that's about a 10-15 minute window.
Next stop,
okay,
Grand
from when the
River
shooting
Park,
started.
transfer point for routes 1 and 22, Monday through Saturday.
That the buses were still running. So in theory, if McRae got out of Union at 8:26, he had 4 minutes to get on one of these buses to get out of town, because they said he didn't have a car. Now you'll notice in the first page of the police report, Officer Tracy Maroney writes that there was MTPD. I believe that's Mason Township Police Department, because that's just my, I gotta look that up, but MTPD, I would think if that's not Michigan State Police Department or Michigan State Troopers, Michigan State Police, then, and it's not the University Campus Police, then that'd have to be Mason Township. And I want to know, I'm going to look up how long does it take for officers from Mason Township to get to Berkey Hall. And then why were there no East Lansing police departments? Why weren't, I mean, they should have been first on scene, BLPD.
Okay, this is Berkey Hall. Okay, these are the famous Berkey Hall, room 114 last year, where a nationally televised campus mass shooting happened. Now the reports on the redacted police report that I obtained, it says the shooter, one of the witnesses says the shooter jumped out this window with multiple victims who also jumped out these windows. Okay, that'd be pretty tough to get out of these windows. Number one, okay, look at the windows. Okay, number two, what happens when you jump out these windows? You got a nice drop. Okay, you got to clear this pole. Do you think many of those kids under distress? Okay, I don't know. That's a tough story to add up. Okay, then somehow, let's say they did jump out this window, they cleared the drop. Okay, where did they go? How did the shooter get away? Okay, if he did jump out this window, there's a camera right there. We should see a camera shot of him. Okay, but he somehow ends up, this is Grand River, then he heads up Grand River westbound, heads all the way to Union. Okay, he does it in less than 6 minutes. We'll say that. So he somehow, nobody noticed him. None of the police officers that are already on scene, nobody notices him come out this way, right? And walk. It's about a 3-minute, 5-second walk for me, walking at a brisk pace. Okay? So then the shooting at Union, they allegedly was at 8:26. So how did he get here to there without being seen? Okay, and how did he jump out a window with a drop at the end of it? Sorry, there's a drop. I mean, there's a ledge there.
At this time.
Walking into the lion's den, the corrupt city den. How you doing? I just was curious if the MSU Police Department would like to give a comment on last year's school shooting. And then would you be willing to take a pledge to be against child trafficking? You don't know. Are you with the MSU Police Cadets? You can't speak. Who can I speak to about that to get a comment? Can you give me their contact information? Yeah. Why don't you want to give a comment? Do you not care about the kids that died?
No, I just have no comment.
Okay. You don't care about the kids that died? No. He said no. That kid said no, we don't. That kid right there says no, we don't care about the kids who died. So give me the contact information of somebody who can give a comment. You can't run away anymore. What's that? Phone number. Phone number, yeah. And her name or name. Anybody who cares about kids. Anybody who's not corrupt. Are you sworn officers? You're college students working at a police station? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You haven't been sworn in, have you?
No, okay. And you haven't taken an oath to uphold the Constitution or the state constitution? No. You haven't put your hand. Okay, thank you. Can I get a business card too? Is she the police writer too that writes all your stories?
She deals with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite the story here.
Copy that.
Can I just get her name? Could you say her name? Dana White. Okay, so that is your police writer.
Yeah,
She comes and writes all your police reports for you.
WHYTE.
WHYE and her number.
And her phone number. So, yeah. So we can't give you her phone number. Okay, ready?
Yeah. They can't give a public employee their phone number. Okay. What's the email?
I'm just gonna give it to you on a sticky note, okay? Make it easier.
And I'll keep in mind the MSU police cadets were told to lock down the campus at 8:20. They replied, "We got you," at 8:20. The campus was never locked down until 8:30, 8:31. The officer, I forget his name, but he asked these cadets to lock down the campus at 8:20. So that's 11 minutes. The campus should have been locked down where Brian's life would have been saved. Okay. Now we're all liable. And it just tells you everything. The fact that they do not want to answer questions is correct. They don't like honesty. Thank you.
Good evening, my dearest Founders America. I'm going to give you an update on the Michigan State University re-investigation of the investigation. I've talked to a lot of people. I'd say almost close to 100 about the on campus from local businesses that were near the scene. Like right now, I'm at Noodles, and I asked them, the employees, just if they here's what I start with. I asked, "Were you here the day of the shooting?" And I said, "Do you see anything?" That's what I asked them. And a lot of the times people are very scared to talk about it. Like all around campus, like people do not want to talk about it. So that tells me one thing, using common sense and logic. People are scared. Like they're intimidated to talk about it because they know. It's like everybody knows, but they're scared to talk about it. Like if you watch my video with the general manager who like harassed me for just doing nothing, for asking questions, like that should tell you everything. Like he harassed me for asking questions about a shooting. Like he didn't want anybody asking. He said that scared him. He said it scared him. A general manager of a hotel that was right near a college campus active shooting. When I went and asked the front desk, here's what I asked them. I said, "Were either of you working here the night of the shooting?" I said, "Did you hear gunshots?" And then they didn't want to talk about it. The woman to the left did not want to talk about it, and the guy kept asking me who I was with. And I said, "I'm asking questions on behalf of myself." I keep saying that to people, okay? Which is my right, because this doesn't add up. This is what citizens need to do, okay? When stuff doesn't add up, you go ask questions. And then I asked the guy at the front desk where he was when the shooting started. Like, how did he find out about it? And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, East Lansing, somewhere." It's like they don't want to talk about it, or they were told they can't talk about it. Okay, and then to have a general manager of the Marriott Hotel in East Lansing, after I just took a picture of a Mason temple that's next to their hotel with no security cameras around it on their loading dock, Listen to that video. I mean, that's harassment. He harassed me for doing nothing. I did nothing illegal. Freedom of speech. I can ask questions. I mean, don't keep your hotel open to the public. Like, it's unsecure. Number one, they don't have security cameras in the parking garage. The lower level of that parking garage, like anybody can get out of there. You know what I mean? And that's what and he told me that I was scaring him. Okay? And I said it's pretty scary that you don't care about the act of violence that happened here, and I'm trying to prevent another one from happening by just improving security measures, really, of what happened. That's what you do. You reinvestigate it and see what went wrong. So that's where we're at. It feels like people are very intimidated to talk about it. I did get some very big information, like I said. The kid where the last shooting happened at Union, the kid in Sparty's, he said the door was left open on purpose, and the shooter was let in that door. Okay, so that tells you it's pre-planned, premeditated murder. Okay, like that's domestic terrorism too. Okay, so they had to know the area, they had to be, and then all these antennas that are on certain buildings on the university, and then they cross Grand River. They're radio antennas that can have private channels. Okay, and then there's one on a building called HQ that runs. I went to the HQ office because there's all tinted windows. I go, what is HQ? I asked the lady. She goes, office spaces. That means OS. Okay, just look up OS. Okay. You can't make this up, honestly, what happened here. And then, like, I'm calling on people to just, like, ask questions. That's how you go on a quest together. You have every right to ask questions as a citizen. So don't be intimidated, okay? Because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Like, that general manager should have never approached me at all for asking questions about a school shooting, okay? I said I'm investigating a school shooting. I'm reinvestigating it because it doesn't add up. That's what I said. I want to prevent another one from happening ever again. There should never be another one again. With how much technology we have, look at all the radio towers. Like, there should never be another one again. Like, we have so much live surveillance. There should never be one. Okay? So we're gonna fix it. Love ya. I'm gonna keep you updated. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go back to Union. I'm gonna go back to Berkey and give you my final. And I'm gonna take because it says he came in on a bus. It says the shooter at 7:20 or around between 7 and 7:20 he got off a bus. Okay, so I want to know why didn't you track that right away? The bus purchase ticket, like what we should have had his picture from on the bus. Okay, so I got to know where all these pictures. Some people said there was no surveillance cameras in the building the day of the shooting. Some said there was just some on the outside. I'm in there. There's no more new ones on the inside of that building where the classroom's closed off. Not one camera on the inside of that building. Like the classroom parts where it actually happened, there's not one added. Again, the chemistry, like the Bunsen burners and chemicals building, not a single camera. Like, that's national, if I'm president, that's national security. And all these antennas on top of these, that's national security to me. I'm like, what are these? All the 5G stuff that people can go access themselves on these parking garages, that's national security to me. Whose are these? It doesn't, some of them say, they don't even say a company on them. They're just there. So we're gonna get to the bottom of America. I urge you to go in your own community, anything you're passionate about, and start asking questions about it to authorities. Whoever's in charge of that subject you're interested in, start asking a lot of questions like when you were a kid, like why? They don't like it, they tell you to shut up. That's why we tell our kids, just shut up when they ask why. Okay? But that's how you go on a quest. It's called a question. Questions. We go on a quest together. Okay? Love ya. 49, okay, of the Michigan State University Police Department case report number 23581000331. Okay? This is the first narrative you see on that police report. Now, I just walked around East Lansing, right off campus, where they said there was a 7th floor parking garage. I just walked to all 5 parking garages that I know exist, and none of them go to the 7th floor, so keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Tracy Maroney's narrative. This is May 13th. Keep in mind the shooting was on February 13th. This is 3 months after. Nature of supplement. To document this officer's action for this incident. Officer's action.
On Monday, February 13, 2023, this officer was working as a sergeant for the Uniform Division of the MSUPD. This officer was on duty in a fully marked patrol vehicle. At approximately 8:19 p.m. on February 13, 2023, dispatch advised of a shooting at Berkey Hall. This officer activated her emergency lights and sirens and drove to the scene. While en route to the scene, dispatch advised there were multiple victims in room 114 and a victim in room 135. Dispatch advised the shooter was in the hallway. Dispatch advised mutual aid and medics were en route. This officer arrived on scene and parked her patrol vehicle on the south side of East Circle Road across from the southwest corner of Berkey Hall. This officer grabbed the vehicle's patrol rifle and entered into Berkey Hall's main entrance on the south side of the building. ELPD Officer Horn entered the building with me and was on my left as we began to clear the entrance way. Officer Elkema entered Berkey Hall shortly after. Please refer to OFC Elkema's supplement report for further details on his actions. As we cleared the first floor, we did not hear any sounds of active violence and did not observe the shooter in the hallway. So was that a false report? As we were clearing the buildings, OFC Elkema received a report of shots heard coming from the east hallway. We made our way to the, you notice how they said they didn't hear anything? We made our way to the hallway, but did not hear any shots. Sergeant Beard advised he could hear shots coming from the west. We cleared the west hallway and made contact with Sergeant Rangel at the west exterior door. Sergeant Rangel advised he did not hear any shots. See how they contradict each other's stories? Sergeant Beard stated over the radio the shooter was moving to the Union and then shots fired at the Union. Based on the information provided over the radio and this officer's observation on scene, we believe the shooter was no longer in Berkey Hall. Officer Horn, Officer Elkema, and this officer entered room 114 and began giving medically aid to the victims. This officer called for a route to be cleared for medics to get in and out of Berkey in order for the victims to be transported quickly. While we were providing medical aid, additional officers and medics arrived on scene. Once medics arrived on scene, this officer began carrying the victims out of the room and transferring to the medics for transport. Okay, it doesn't say what time this was at, okay, and it doesn't say that they were brought back to Sparrow Hospital, so keep that in mind. After assisting a victim out of the room, this officer was contacted by Officer Elkema stating there was another victim in room 135. Officer Elkema and this officer cleared the first floor, but did not locate any additional victims. This officer, that was a false report. This officer formed a contact team with Officer Elkema, Lieutenant Park from ELPD, and rescue medics to clear the remaining floors in Berkey Hall. Each floor was methodically cleared, and announcements were given by the contact team. Once Berkey Hall was cleared, this officer had OFC Elkema open up Broad Art Museum to begin the staging area for witnesses from Berkey Hall. Due to lack of transportation to Landon Hall, and still an active incident, this officer requested the assistance of the medics to help safely escort the witnesses, okay, not gunshot wound victims, witnesses to Broad Art Museum. Officer Elkema and Lieutenant Park waited with the witnesses until the FBI arrived. This officer advised Incident Command the witnesses from Berkey Hall would be in Broad Art Museum. Captain Fadley arrived at Berkey Hall, and with the assistance of two MTPD officers, we conducted a secondary clear of all floors. After our sweep was complete, IRSRT arrived on scene to conduct a third sweep of the building and breach any doors that were not breached on the secondary sweep. While IRSRT was clearing the building, this officer rotated out officers running scene security on room 114. The officer also checked on OFC Elkema at Broad Art while attempting to coordinate turning over the scene and witnesses to the FBI. Doesn't say what time, okay? At approximately 2:30 a.m., okay, on February 14th, 2:30 a.m. on February 14th, 2023, this officer and Officer Elkema were relieved, okay? So it tells them what time they were relieved, but it doesn't say what times any of these important events happen, okay? Keep that in mind. Elkema relieved from the scene by Sergeant Thorne, Sergeant Patchett, and Captain Fadley. Disposition closed to Uniform Division. Okay, that's page 49. Here's David Isabel.
Okay, I'm a sergeant with the MSU. So let's go back here. I'm just gonna do page 49. Okay, for them not to have any timestamps of when the 5 gunshot wound victims were brought back to Sparrow, that's a huge, what we call red flag. That's a huge red flag. Okay, but you had an ambulance bring witnesses to the Broad Art Museum. Okay, but it doesn't say when the gunshot wound victims, how many were brought to the hospital, what time they were brought to the hospital. Okay, and if you fast forward to page 102 of this police report, you'll notice that the police station writer, Dana White, okay, when she arrived at Berkey, she said there was copious amounts of blood everywhere, with medics just standing there, okay, as well as victims lying there, okay. There's victims lying there, but they were not being brought back. I mean, those victims, okay, should have been put in an ambulance and immediately brought back to Sparrow Hospital, okay. So I'm going to keep going over page by page. I just want you to keep in mind there's no 7th floor parking garage near this campus. All right. Actually, for a bonus, I'll do page 50 here. David Isabel. Okay. Nature of the supplemental. I am sergeant with the Michigan State University Police Department, currently assigned to Patrol Division. On February 14th, 2023, redacted, this should not be redacted, came into the MSU Police Department. Redacted requested to speak with an officer regarding campus shooting. Okay, interview with redacted. On 2/14/22. Okay, that's the wrong date. See that? That says that's a year before. That's a year before it ever happened. That's Valentine's Day in 2022. At about 2 p.m., I spoke with redacted in front of interview room of MSU Police Department. Redacted stated he knew the identity of the campus shooter. Redacted referred to the shooter as Tony. Okay, redacted met Tony in 2018 on the campus of MSU. They met at a gathering of community members who were interested in bettering their greater Lansing communities. Redacted referred to Tony as redacted, would disclose criminal activity. Redacted neighborhood to redacted would then advise local law enforcement. The last time redacted saw Tony was about 3 weeks ago. Okay, redacted stated that Tony seemed to be agitated. Tony told redacted that he had been beaten up by students. Tony didn't indicate if the students were MSU students. Tony did not advise what caused the altercation between him and the students. Tony indicated that he believes the altercation may have occurred the weekend in the downtown Lansing area, East Lansing area. Redacted stated that Tony frequents that area to collect cans for money on the weekends. Okay, so do you think a guy that collects cans for money on the weekends, do you think he's capable of planning this very sophisticated campus shooting? Just ask yourself that common sense question. Okay, and then do you think he would be going to a gathering of community members interested in bettering their communities? Okay, he could be, he could really care, but he seems homeless to me. Blank believes that it indicated altercation with students may have been motive behind the shooting on February 13th, 2023. Redacted also recalled having conversations with Tony, and now it's Anthony, the guy's name Anthony McRae, about mass school shootings in the past. These conversations were not recent in nature. Redacted believes Tony had an infatuation with school shootings/shooters. Several times during my interview with Redacted, advised that he is a blank Redacted and offered his services to the police department and or MSU community. Okay. Disposition of incident. I advised Redacted that I would document his statement. I also advised Redacted that an investigator may be reaching out to him with further questions. This incident is closed to patrol pending further incident. Okay, and then I would love to know who the Attorney General's office was interviewing, because it looks like the Attorney General's office got to interview a bunch of people and it doesn't state their names. Okay, and then let's go to so right here they kind of throw it out the window that so this guy went and sold he pawned off all of his stuff for money. Okay, it says right here McRae had pawned several items recently. Okay. On February 8th, he sold his guns. Okay? So, how did he have guns on him? It says right here. Right here. So this kind of throws their whole story out the window too. Okay? So I urge you to go read this police report. You can even start at the first 50 pages or the first 48 pages. They don't give you much other than, they don't give you much substance, I'll say that. But if you go read the police reports from actual police officers, it does not add up. Okay? For the fact that he pawned his gun on February 8th, well, he couldn't have done the shooting. And then the fact that they have no timestamps on when the bodies were brought back to Sparrow. Okay? And then they close out with this one right here does not. Where are you? They interviewed a woman, or some woman called from up in northern Michigan, I believe. They redacted it, part of it. But I'll start up another live and I'll show you. Miller Madison, Colette Quinn, have a great day. Love you. Okay, this is the MSU, Michigan State University Police Department case report, case number 23581003331. Report date and time 2/13/2023 at 8:18 p.m. Reporting officer is Tracy Maroney. Information: on February 13th, 2023 at approximately 2400 hours, a writer, it says writer, who was off duty received an MSU alert call from the MSU Police Department. Writer, who was the notification supervisor for both day and night shift patrols, immediately looked up the status of our night shift officers on campus via the MSU DPPS ICAD application and learned. Okay. What did he learn? Doesn't say which 4 officers they looked up, because later on it'll go down to say. Writer called Deputy Chief. This is the chief. His name should be on his report, by the way, to see if he was tracking the shooting. Now, I'm going to fast forward. I've went over this multiple times. Okay. The timestamps do not add up. Timestamps do not add up. Okay. But you're going to see here, they redact all these people's names. For example, they don't redact FBI agent names. Who's doing this investigation with them? You know what I mean? But yet they redact cleaning services name? Why would you redact cleaning services names or preferred removal services? Why does that matter? Why would they redact it and not the FBI Honey Queen's names? Beautiful FBI agents working on this case. This is my belief from what I've read just from this report and how they called the shooter McRae. Christopher Wray of the FBI. And how there's coding on this police report, specifically talking about their group, the Nazis. It says it on the report in their code. So this is a direct threat, this is my belief, against the entire FBI, because the FBI probably did something good. So that's where we're at in this country. We've definitely lost the ability to tell right from wrong, because again, the FBI, they put this statistic on their website. You can go find it yourself. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing in America. In the United States of America, every 40 seconds, a child goes missing. It's on the FBI.gov website. But yet, police departments across the country don't have it on their websites. Why is that? Could they be part of it? Then, if you don't put that statistic, I mean, the least you could do is put the kids, all the missing kids in your county, you put them on your website. There's constantly a revolving door of missing children. You can go look on the Nationally and Exploited Missing Children's Foundation's website, where there's a bunch of corporations that come together and make sure kids go missing, basically. Okay? Now, why don't you put these statistics on your website? Huh? MSU police cadets who failed. Brian Fraser and the 2 other young ladies that died by not getting the alert out right away. You should look in the mirror. Why were these FBI special agents, because they're special to me, why are they not redacted? Why are just Preferred Removal Service, PRS, BRP, Body Removal Personnel, why are their names redacted? But yet, FBI agents aren't. Now, in this report, if you go to the very beginning of it, let's see if I can get up there. Read this, okay? And it says they're going to redact names, all names. Why didn't they redact FBI agent names that investigated this? And it's still open. Still open investigation. They haven't case closed it. See, when police close cases, it's called the delivery of service. And it's how they measure productivity for the department. It's how they get extra money. Productivity, delivery of service. Well, they didn't deliver. Okay? So read this. Okay? And then know, this is my belief. This was a direct threat against the FBI. The shooting. Have a good day. Have a good evening. And I believe there's a secret fraternal order inside all over America. Think of it as a law of 6%. 6% of America, who might not even be American citizens, who might be British, okay? They cause most of the damage that you see. Plain and simple. It's this law of 6%. They taught it to me in my criminal justice class. 6% of society causes most of the trouble. 6, isn't it a weird number? A lot of parking garages, 6th floor, they throw bullets. One of the timestamps was, they put one of the second marks. At the very beginning of this, I'll show you. It says 1806. See this? Should be the same time as that. Page 102, the famous page 102, where they had to call the writer of the MSU Police Department before this guy decided to go to the shooting and try to stop a shooter. Like another shooting. So as they're calling this writer, another shooting is about to happen. You realize how bad this is? How bad this looks? Love ya.